the ISO range is better than with the new Pentax 17. Now is the time to get the last really good ones, I think. Hey there, my name is Thomas and it's time again for another Pentax Spotmatic video. So I did a review of the original Spotmatic about 4 years ago. I'm still shooting these things very often, and this is also a Spotmatic 2, so it's a little bit of a follow-up version. So I want to talk about how it really is to shoot this thing on a daily basis. Is it still worth it? It's a really old camera. Yeah, and I'm just super excited because I still love these things. So let's have a go now. The history of the Pentax Spotmatic has been told numerous times, so I'll wrap it up in a nutshell now. This thing came out in 1964 and they made over 1 million Pentax Spotmatic cameras. It was a huge success. This one's called the SP2 or Spotmatic 2, and the main difference is a fixed flash hot shoe on top of the prism cover that the original Spotmatic didn't have. Apart from that, it's the same thing. It's an M42 camera. It's got the famous Spotmatic internal light metering, and these were made until around 1975. Again, 1 million sold. That's a huge number. I think in my earlier video back then I said it was like 4 million. You find that number often in the internet, but there seem to be big gaps in the serial numbers. Still, 1 million Pentax Spotmatics is a huge success anyway. In your hand, this camera, yeah, it's a 1964 design at heart, but still everything is there that you really need for your photography, and that's what I love about it. Not any unnecessary feature, but still everything that you need. So it's an M42 camera, and that is the one big disadvantage today, because screw until you can change your lens. I tell you, if you're traveling with more than one lens, you maybe want to bring 2 bodies, because when you're somewhere walking around and you want to change your lens, this is really annoying. Apart from that, everything is perfect. Again, you've got manual shutter times up to 1/1000th of a second, plus B, of course. This is the exposure button. Wind your film manually, beautiful all metal thing. Here you set how many exposures your film has. It's just a reminder. The ISO you set here, because it's got a light meter, as I said. One cool thing about the SP2, I think, only is the ASA or ISO goes from 20 all the way up to 3200. I think the original ones topped out at 1600. I'm not sure how much it matters today. I'm shooting 100 ISO today. But yeah, it's got a pretty big ISO range. Oh, by the way, the ISO range is better than with the new Pentax 17, because that one can only go down to ISO 50. And believe me, there are several interesting films out there today that have less than ISO 50. This is the hot shoe of the SP2. From the front, you see a self-timer. Down there, there's nothing to see. I love to have this original half case on it. Of course, there goes the battery. This camera can take any battery that fits into the battery chamber. You do not need to have a 1.35 volt battery, which was common back then. It can take 1.5 volt batteries. So beware of people that want to sell you super expensive batteries. You don't need them for the Spotmatic. Take any battery. In my case, I'm using hearing aid batteries. I get 6 of them for €3 in any shop that has hearing aids. Just saying. The viewfinder is a little bit smaller than, let's say, in the Olympus OM1, but it's bright and super clear. And what I really notice when I'm shooting this camera, it's super precise. Focusing on the Spotmatic is always super nice. When you go to infinity on your lens, hard stop at infinity, it really matches 100%. I don't have that experience with OM lenses or even Pentax K lenses. I don't know how it comes. M42 seems to be super precise. Last not least, we've got this thing here. This is your switch for the light meter. This camera does have a, it meters at working aperture. That means if you stop down to f8 and you're metering, this is switched on, then your viewfinder image will get a little bit darker. That's the only thing. It doesn't have open aperture metering, but trust me, in real life, no problem. You switch it off like this, or if you fire the shutter, this will automatically switch off. No shutter speed times or anything else in the viewfinder. So if you want that, you need a more modern camera. But I think it's actually a cool reduction to what you really need. For focusing, there is a micro prism ring in the center. It's kind of small, but on the other hand, again, I just find it super precise. So if I take my time a little bit, and if I look closely, I think I can focus this more accurately than an OM1 or even a Pentax MX. So that's it with the Spotmatic. Everything you need and not a single bit more. I love it. We're here shooting in Cologne, and this is the tourist spot at the Rhine, and you see the cathedral in the background. And actually, I think this is a really good travel camera. Obviously, I'm at home right now, but I love to take my Pentax Spotmatic to travel somewhere. And one thing I really notice, and I think it has to do with the fact that this is basically a 1960s design, is everything made from metal. There is not a single part on the outside of this camera that is made from plastic, only the eye cup, and that makes sense, so it's not scratching your glasses or something, and this one button for the light meter. Everything else full metal. You do not have that with an OM1, you do not have that with a Pentax MX or any other 1970s camera, or a Nikon FE or FM. And yeah, call me vintage, call me old-fashioned, but I really, really love that. The way how I normally set up this camera is I put it on the shutter speed that I want for these kind of touristic shots. 1/25th of a second is always good with 50mm lens. And then I turn on the light meter and I just stop down the aperture to something around 5.6, 8, 11. That will normally work with ISO 100, and I fine-tune to the light meter. That way you're pretty quick and you don't miss any automatic exposure control or something. It's very easy. Having said that there were 1 million of these cameras made, it's still not that easy today to get a really nice one. And I reckon it's a bit more easy to get a good SP2 because they're at least like 8, 9, 10 years younger than the original. They're still very, very old. But yeah, it seems to make a little bit of a difference when it comes to how good they work. So this one, I paid 70 euros, including the 55 f1.8 lens, which is a fantastic standard lens. And yeah, I don't think that's any sort of money really for a high quality classic SLR camera like this. But if you're looking to shop for some of these cameras, you often find them with a lot of scratches, or they might have issues with the shutter or sometimes the light meter, stuff like that, which is to be expected if a camera is as old as this. So it takes a little bit of time to get a good one. There are, of course, some things you have to watch out when buying such an old camera. Again, 60s, 70s, they are like really old. And a lot of these cameras never have been serviced properly or something because they are utterly reliable. But now things can go wrong a little bit. These are all mechanical cameras. That means it's rare that it just fails completely, that it becomes bricked or something. But for example, the 1000th a second, that can sort of fail and then you get a very uneven exposure. So if in doubt, then only shoot at 500ths of a second. You can also check for that by holding the camera against the light source, peeking through the shutter and see if it sort of looks equal or not exposed. Also, when you buy a new camera, just run a test film through it to make sure that all these times work. Long shutter times, 1 second, half a second, etc., they can also fail, but in my experience, it was more often a 1000th of a second that failed. Also check the light meter. There can be corrosion from the batteries if you leave them too long in the battery chamber and then it doesn't work, or anything else. Check the viewfinder image, that it's clear. Check that there is no fungus in the camera. Check the outside condition, all that stuff. Check the surf timer. That can also fail. There's a lot to check, but it's basically a 5-minute job. And if you buy online, then maybe buy from a trusted source or ask the vendor about the condition of the camera. It's worth the hunt. But beware, it's not like buying a brand new camera. One of the many reasons why you maybe want to have a Spotmatic, and also one of the reasons why you maybe don't want to have it, is the lens selection. These are M42 cameras and there are tremendous Pentax lenses out there. The classic Takumars like this one, the cheapest lens ever, 55mm f1.8. Cheap because there were so many made and they come with every camera basically for free. The construction quality is fantastic and the optics also. It's just a gem of a lens. I really love this. And also it focuses down to 45 centimeters. So yeah, one of the reasons why I'm not a Leica guy. I hate the close focus of Leica M cameras. I really find it limits you a lot. Apart from that, if you want to go wide angle, then M42 maybe is not so good for you because all these lenses were designed in the 50s, 60s, maybe early 70s, but after that they didn't make a lot of M42 lenses anymore. So if you want a modern day wide angle lens, then maybe it's not the system for you. Go figure. think it's time for the verdict again. So I'm shooting these cameras for quite some years now on a regular basis. I also love to shoot OM system and the Pentax K system. There are two specific reasons. The one reason is I really do not like the M42 lens mount when it comes to travel photography and you have to change your lens. The only way to solve that is to bring two bodies. And the other thing is on the Pentax K mount, you've got specific really high quality lenses that you won't get on M42. Like for example, the 28f 3.5 Pentax K mount, the most sharp 28mm lens that's out there for maybe any lens mount, I don't know. You won't get such a sharp 28mm lens for your M42 mount. But having said that, I still love shooting this camera. Super robust, beautiful handling, beautiful design, all metal finish, just such an unobtrusive, beautiful shooter, and I got great results. So that's why I'm shooting this. And if you like something like that, get a Pentax Spotmatic, really. Now is the time to get the last really good ones, I think. After that, in 5 or 10 years, you maybe will have a struggle to find an equally nice one like this. It's even worth to have them overhauled for maybe 150 euros. You get a brand new camera in terms of how that operates. I think it's worth it. I'm really in love, as you can tell. I also prefer this way over any Leica M camera. There I said it again. And yeah, it can do everything. It's got all the features that you really need and nothing more. If you like that, get one. That's it for today. I hope you found this interesting, maybe even useful. If you did so, then please leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. And also, if you've got any questions or comments, write something in the comment section below. You know I love to read all your comments. I will happily answer every single one of them. So, live long and prosper, have a great time, and I see you in the next one. Bye.